round, squeeze round, coming close.
Just won Wimbledon!
For those of you who don't know why we're cheering, Andy Murray just won Wimbledon.
My name is John Edward. I was the spokesperson for the Stronger In campaign in Scotland, and on behalf of that entire campaign, thank you. I'm sorry it wasn't more, but you did pretty well. I don't know how to follow that, but I think we need to remember when we set off from here, the last 2 weeks have been pretty traumatic. But as we think about what we do for the future, remember we did all that we could in Scotland. Remember, Remain was 24 points ahead of Leave. Remember, the turnout was bigger than in 1975 in Scotland. It was bigger than the Holyrood elections just 2 months ago. You did an incredible job. But for Scotland in Stronger in Europe, and for Britain Stronger in Europe, we've got a few things that we know we need to do for the months ahead. We know that the chances of a second referendum quickly are unlikely. You'll have seen yesterday the Foreign Office struck out this petition with over 4 million signatures on it saying there won't be a second referendum soon. So what are we going to do instead? 4 things. We need to make sure that the debate that's coming ahead is shaped by us, that we get the best we possibly can out of whatever discussions go on in Brussels. But more than that, we need to make a positive and patriotic case, both for staying in the European Union or its institutions, but staying with our member state friends, staying with our closest neighbours, allies and colleagues. I think more importantly than anything, what we also need to guarantee is a decent, a positive public discourse. I think all of us here and many millions elsewhere in the United Kingdom have been disappointed, surprised and depressed by the level of debate and some of the things that have happened both before and after the debate. And it's up to us to keep that tolerant and inclusive discussion alive as we go forward. And last but not least, the 4th thing we have to do, and I think you've done pretty well already, is we have to hold the Leave campaign and every single person who carried their banner and who fought under their name to account for everything they said they would do and everything they have now started to pretend they never promised in the first place. But ladies and gentlemen, this is more than about party politics. It's much more than about party politics. In fact, it was never really about party politics. It's about you. It's about why Europe mattered to you, why you matter to Europe, wherever you come from and wherever you plan to go, about your individual rights, your protections, your responsibilities. So I'd ask you now, as we go forward, don't think about what's happened 2 weeks ago. Think about why it matters to you. What is the concrete things that you want to keep out of this? If we're going to do this again, we have to build it up from the base and do it up one person, one right, and one issue at a time. And hopefully that campaign starts here today. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Ritchie, and I'm the SNP councillor for Leith Walk. Thank you. Like everyone here, EU membership means something to me on a very personal level. I believe it is something that is worth fighting for. 10 years ago, I bought an old motorcycle and I embarked on a journey that took me thousands of miles across Europe, where I lived and worked in France, Austria, Italy, Czech Republic, and Italy is Poland as well. I met my English wife in an Irish bar in Italy, and a few months later we got engaged with each other in Brussels. I am European. My life was forever changed and made better because of the opportunities that came from belonging to a community of nations that is greater than the sum of its parts. The responsibility of every generation should be to pass more rights and greater freedoms to the next generation, not fewer. We cannot let the opportunities that we have all enjoyed be closed off to our children. My story is by no means unique, but because the positive experiences that we all share were drowned out in a referendum campaign that was bitter and divisive. It pitched communities against each other and encouraged those who have the least to focus their hatreds towards the migrant worker on the minimum wage, instead of towards those who are really responsible for the low wages and broken welfare state that has let so many people in this country down. Like all of you, I feel extremely angry and let down. Angry at the lies, the thinly veiled racism and the downright dishonesty that led us down a path that has placed the future of thousands of EU citizens in jeopardy and threatens to break the bonds of friendship with the very people who helped to make this city such a vibrant and exciting place to live. I represent Leith Walk Ward. It's an area that is enlivened and enriched with the thousands of EU citizens who have made Leith their home. It is the most ethnically diverse council ward in Scotland, and it is a wonderful, multicultural and multi-layered place to live. Ladies and gentlemen, it forms part of the constituency of Edinburgh, Northern and Leith, a place where 78% of voters of this diverse constituency chose to remain in the EU. That is one of the strongest Remain votes in the entire UK. Now, I believe that there is a lesson here for all of us. It shows us that the strongest, most united communities are those that break down the barriers of misunderstanding and celebrate diversity. But this community cohesion didn't happen by accident. It happened as a direct result of years of hard work from charities, third sector organisations, community groups, and of course the people of Leith themselves, who made a conscious decision to fight against intolerance and extend a hand of friendship to people from all over the world. That is why events like this today are so important. We need to stand together and with one voice send a message across the world. The EU citizens are and always will be welcome here in Edinburgh. Thank you.